Hi, I'm Jayna Riley, and this is AGELESS. I'm 40, and my life is just getting started. I'm here to share real talk and real experiences about how to live life ageless. Nothing's off the table. You know the vibes. Let's go. Hello, and welcome back to AGELESS. I'm Jayna Riley, and today's podcast is just going to evolve on its own. I'm just having one of those days, and I'm recording today from a beautiful yoga studio. So if the sound is a little more echoey, that's because it's a really big space, and there's also, I hear the AC is on, so hopefully my microphone's not picking up too much sound, but that's the deal. So here I am, I'm at a yoga studio, this beautiful studio, and I woke up this morning feeling like I was getting sick, and I had the sore throat, and I'm starting to feel like a little bit of body ache. I've been working a ton. I sleep really crazy hours. I just wake up at really early hours. Like, we're talking sometimes 1 a.m., sometimes 2 a.m., sometimes 3 a.m. My favorite time to wake up is 4 a.m., but I keep waking up before that. And then once I go to the kitchen, I think I've shared on this podcast before, I am a midnight snacker to the core, and I will be in the fridge standing there in my underwear eating something if I'm waking up. So I usually get up, go to the fridge, grab some grapes, or I eat peanut butter or an apple. Like, those are my go-tos. And so I did that this morning. I literally rolled out of bed. My eyes were still closed. I was barely moving, but the dog needed to eat because she also is now on this new schedule and loves to have a midnight snack. So I'm feeding the dog, and I'm standing there just like, oh, I'm feeling sick and I need to go back to sleep. But I was awake by the time I got back to bed because Monroe has this, she's so damn cute, you guys. So when she wakes up in the middle of the night, like, she knows it's time to eat. So I feed her, and then she immediately runs to the balcony, goes and relieves herself, and then I call it potties. I only say that because Paul can't stand it, but he now uses the word potties, and I'm so proud of him. So she goes potties and then runs back in, licks her bowl, and then runs and jumps back into bed and burrows herself in and just goes right back to sleep. It's the cutest routine. We do it every single day. But anyway, that's besides the point. So then I get back to bed, and now I'm awake, but I feel like shit. So Paul and I probably spent 2 or 3 hours just talking all morning. It's my favorite part of the day. It's where we have the most beautiful quality time. We talk about everything endlessly, and it's beautiful. I feel like I go on a date every single morning, and I love that. So I highly suggest, if you and your partner live together, oh my God, create some time in the morning before the day gets started and runs away, because it is such a serene spiritual experience. I highly recommend it. Even if you dedicate a half hour, if you're not a morning person, just dedicate a half hour to each other of just talking and speaking from the heart and sharing what's going on in your world. And it has created this deep, genuine bond. I can't stress this enough. If you have the opportunity to start your day with your partner, I highly, highly recommend it. And Paul and I individually wake up at wild hours on our own. So collectively, we bonded over that. And, we have the time for each other, and then we both go off on our own and do our own spiritual practice in the morning, and it just sets the tone for such a magical day. I know I talk about this a lot, about my morning rituals, but my morning ritual is the most sacred thing to me. And the fact that I can share it with my partner, it has created such a deep bond, and I'm so grateful. I even wrote in my journal this morning, and I'll just read it for everyone today. And it says, I've never been happier in my lifetime. I have everything I need physically, spiritually, emotionally, financially, and romantically. I have it all. I've never felt this way before. I've never felt like I've had it all. And to be honest with you, I don't even have that much financially. Like, I'm sitting in a place, like in the most humble situation financially, and I'm happier than I've ever been. And I feel actually more empowered that I'm sharing that on a public platform and on this podcast, that I feel like I have it all, and I have less financially than I take that back, not less than I've ever had, but I'm just like, things are just different today, and I feel so provided for and so grateful for it. And that is that. So where I wanted to go with this podcast today is, picture this. I'm in a beautiful yoga studio / Peloton room. And that's just where it's at for me today. I am just in a Zen place. And so I decided, let's record the podcast at the yoga studio. So here we are. And I just recorded a podcast for you guys, and it is lost in the ethers somewhere. I have no idea what happened to it. So I am just taking it as a sign that it wasn't the right plan. So I am re-recording the podcast. It's been such an interesting morning. So I guess what I'll start by saying is I'm going to give you my little spiel on how to combat an imbalance in your body and also be able to do your day and work out. So here it is. So I felt the imbalance. I am obsessed with Evolution makes this tangerine juice, this cold pressed tangerine juice that is out of this world. So you can get it at Whole Foods. I found it at Albertsons, but Whole Foods, they always carry it. And I am obsessed with it, as I said. So I went to the fridge and immediately downed some of that because it just feels good with a sore throat. Then I made French press coffee because the heat is really good. Then I took the vitamins that I take are a multivitamin, multi-mineral. I take fish oil with vitamin D, and the vitamin D is good for immunity boost for the immune system, obviously. Zinc for the same reason. And I also take B12, but I'm actually out of it right now, so that's what I recommend. That's really good for energy and digestion and the way that your body uses food for energy. So highly recommend B12. And then as soon as I'm done with this podcast, I'm going to run up and make a protein shake. And I have this vegan protein powder that is packed with nutrients. Oh, totally forgot the first part. Had a little bit of the tangerine juice. Then I have these super greens, and there's spirulina, there's chlorella, there's wheatgrass, there's, I'm sure I'm forgetting something, kale, all kinds of good shit. And so I made a teaspoon of that with water, down that, chased it with the tangerine juice. That was a vibe. And I'm just flooding my body with water. And then the Band-Aid, and this is how I got rid of the low-grade headache that I had. The Band-Aid for me is Dayquil. Dayquil is the shit. And like I said, it's not going to cure anything, but it's going to be the Band-Aid so you can function in your day. Here are my recommendations for fitness. So if you have a fever, don't leave the house. Sleep is your best friend. Fluids, do the nutrients that I suggested. And by the way, this is not medical advice. I am not a doctor. I am a nutrition enthusiast. I've been doing it for a while. I've studied supplements for years, and it's just something that I get off on. So there's that. These are just suggestions for anybody out there who is fighting something, or you just need to pack your arsenal for the next time you feel an imbalance in your body. So these are my suggestions. So if you want to work out, and you have a fever, don't, because your body is really working its ass off to try to fight whatever is going on and the imbalance in your body. So fever, absolutely not. Sleep is the magic bullet. That is it. But if you don't have a fever and you're just kind of feeling like I was this morning, then totally okay to work out. Don't be an idiot and do a leg day or a chest day or a back day. Keep it light. If that's just 10 minutes on a cardio machine, if that's push-ups, if that's a walk around the block with the dog, if that's a walk to the coffee shop to get a tea or something like that, moving your body is really good because it's going to keep the blood flow going and circulation, and it's good for your body to move. Also, throw in a nap or some sort of rest throughout the day. Like, don't go hard. But it is okay to work out if you don't have a fever, if you're feeling a little bit of an imbalance, as long as you're flooding your body with the right nutrients so that it doesn't have to work so hard. Today I'm going to do an arms day. I'm going to keep it really fucking light, and I'm going to go to Coronado Dog Beach with my baby and walk around with her. So that's going to be the extent of my training today. But I thought that it would be fun to share with everybody my process when you feel an imbalance in your body. I haven't been sick for a really long time, and so the way that I felt this morning was like, fuck. But you know what? I have been waking up super duper early, and I have a lot on my plate right now, and I've been working a lot, and I just feel like it's my body's way of saying, hey, slow it down. So I'm going to try to slow it down as much as possible today. The only thing that kind of scares me is the fact that I took Dayquil, because when you take that shit, it just gives you this sense of, I'm fine, my body feels great. So I just have to remember it's a Band-Aid and don't go too hard. So I'm just holding, this is accountability right here, just saying it on the podcast on a public platform. This is my accountability. You guys are my accountability team. I'm not going to go hard today. But here is what I wanted to share. Because, and this, by the way, was not a plan. I did not plan this podcast. It's just coming out the way it's supposed to come out. And that is that. So I, like I said, am in the most beautiful relationship. I'm the happiest I've ever been. I mean, Paul is just such a magical human being. I feel so blessed and grateful. He is so wicked smart, so fucking funny, and his spiritual depth is so attractive. He's got this amazing energy, and I'm just so energetically drawn to him. And, you know, I feel like we were divinely put together, and I'm leading in with that because, number one, we're coming into Valentine's Day, and I just, as I was sharing about where I'm at, was like, oh, okay, well, let's talk about love today. I think that would be a good lead-in to the Valentine's Day week. So my affirmation this morning was all about relationships, and I'm going to just read it for you now. There is, for each person, his other half, or divine selection. These two are one in their thought worlds. These are the two whom God has joined together, and no man shall or can part asunder. The twain shall be made of one, for in the superconscious mind of each of us is the same divine plan. And the superconscious mind is your spiritual side. That is the superconscious, which we are one with God. So in the superconscious mind of each is the same divine plan. That is my favorite part of the affirmation, because it's just how I feel right now with Paul. I feel, God, everything, the way we met, and I can just speak for myself, just my openness, my willingness, my time that I had that day, and and just my heart was just so open to him. And we shared on such a deep level with each other. And what was this chance encounter turned into a 9-hour tour, just getting to know each other. And then it extended itself for 2 more days. So we had 3 days together, which was a chance encounter turned right. And we saw each other for who we really were. And because of that, we were able to go so deep with one another and really get to know each other on such a spiritual level. And hindsight for me now, looking back, I just see it as such a gift, like God's greatest gift in my life. I wasn't seeking out love. I was actually spending the year healing from a past relationship and who I was in that relationship, and the things that I allowed, which I don't want today. I just needed to take some time alone just to reset, recharge, and become a better version of myself so I can be a better partner for my next relationship. So that was my game plan. And what's funny about Paul is he was on the same path, and I don't feel like he was looking either, but we were brought together and we both acknowledged it. And we both today have this magical relationship because we're both taking care of ourselves individually and collectively. Like I said, I go on a date every single morning with him. We just have that beautiful time together. So if you live with your partner or not, I highly suggest creating even just a half an hour with one another just to talk about, what's on your heart. Who are you today? What do you want today? Because all we have is this 24 hours. So as we go into this Valentine's Day week, and by the way, Valentine's Day has never been a favorite for me. I don't mind it. It doesn't bother me. I do think it's like a retailer's marketing wet dream. And also the restaurant industry. And I think it's great. Support your local business. Go out. They're jacking up their prices just for one day. I don't like celebrating Valentine's Day on Valentine's Day. I like doing it on another day. It makes way more sense to me. Less crowds, and the prices are not jacked up, and there's not like a fixed menu. So there's that for me. Not that anybody asked, but that's just where I'm at. So as we go into the Valentine's Day week, I just wanted to share, whether you have a partner or not. I used to be single most Valentine's Days. I haven't had very many Valentine's Days with a Valentine. I just haven't. I actually have had a lot of single time in my life. And this is the first Valentine's Day I just can't wait to celebrate. In fact, I already gave Paul his gift. I just don't know how to wait. I'm really terrible at that with gift giving. He has to have it now. And I love the idea of celebrating love. And I think that's what it's all about, is to kind of ignore the marketing aspect of Valentine's Day and just celebrate the idea of love. So like I said, if you're single, love yourself. Do whatever you need to do this coming week to love on yourself. Love on the people around you that really know you and love you. And celebrate. Go buy yourself some flowers. I think that's one of the most beautiful things you can do for yourself. Go buy yourself some flowers. Take a hot bath. Read a beautiful book. Create a vision board. Do something that is loving to you. Take yourself out for a meal. There's no rules to this thing. And then if you have a partner, I guess my best suggestion is put aside time in the morning for each other and see where it goes. It's just so beautiful. And maybe you do it already. I'm not giving this suggestion because I don't think anybody else gets up at ungodly hours and has time with their partner. That's not what I'm saying at all. I've just had such a beautiful experience with Paul in the mornings. And like I said, we individually woke up early and collectively got to share it together. So it's like our bonding time, because in the evenings, it's so funny. Like, we'll put on a show, we'll try to have time together, but we'll be snoozing within seconds of hitting the pillow. I can't tell you how many series I've started and how many shows I've tried to watch and how many movies I've tried to watch at night and can't even get through the first 5 minutes because I'm asleep, because we get up so goddamn early. So that's why these morning bonding times are so important to me, because it's where we're at our best. So I think that's just what I'm trying to say here is show up for your partner when you're at your best. So maybe that's the morning for you. Maybe that's midday. Maybe that's mid-morning. Maybe that's the evening for you. Maybe you're a night owl and like live the nocturnal life. I used to live that life. I was an insomniac for so many years. And I wish I had a partner that did the same, but it was always just me up on my own. So I'll leave you with that. Show up for your partner, or show up for yourself when you're at your best. Do your most important work when you're at your best. And it's the most rewarding and fulfilling action. I hope that everybody has the most beautiful Valentine's Day week. It's a celebration of love, and only love is real. I ripped that off from Marianne Williamson. Of course. Only love is real. Nothing else exists. So if nothing else exists, what is there to worry about? Celebrate love this week, and stay tuned for the next episode. I really appreciate you listening to Ageless, and ciao for now. Mwah.
Thank you for joining me for another episode of Ageless. Don't forget to rate and subscribe. Tune in next week for a new episode.